Welcome to the audiobook, A Secret Alpha Mate, written by Aurora Archer, narrated by Hannah Altagracia. Chapter 1. Silver Moon. Isla. I've never been so cold before. The rain is lashing, and I feel a sense of loss so heavy that it physically weighs on my chest. I float in and out of consciousness as I hear voices yelling that they found someone still alive. A light flashes across my eyes and then it disappears. I'm carried and end up somewhere warm. I'm confused and mentally exhausted as I drift into the abyss. I wake up to Abigail gently shoving me awake. "Are you having that dream again?" she asks. "Yes," I reply, wiping the sleep out of my eyes. I'm exhausted, but I can see the first telltale signs of dawn outside the small window, so I know I can't go back to bed. As soon as I sit up, I feel the dream slipping away from me. Abigail looks at me remorsefully. "You haven't had that dream in a while. Was anything different about it?" I shake my head again. This is the only dream that I ever remember having. Recently, it has been coming more frequently and feels more and more vivid, but I can't remember much besides feeling grief every time I wake up. I feel the chills so deeply and pain so gut-wrenching I want to cry out. Then the haze and confusion pulls me in, and I wake up shivering and cloudy, like I had just forgotten something important. There's something that I can't seem to remember waking up, something that feels like I need to break through it. Abigail pats my back and says, "Everyone else is already heading downstairs. I tried waking you a few times." I look at the 5 other empty mattresses on the floor of our small attic bedroom. Shit. Being even a second late means the worst shift assignment since Megan took over as lead Omega. I can't tell if the power has already gotten to her head or if she's overcompensating for how much we all loved our previous lead Omega, who one day retired and went back to the pack she was from without so much as saying goodbye to anyone. I tell Abigail to hurry down as I get dressed, but she waits for me. Abigail has been around since I got here as a kid. My earliest memories are of working in this pack house. She has trained me how to do everything to the highest standards of the pack. She has covered for me when I made mistakes as a kid, and she has taken beatings for my mistakes. She is my closest friend, even though she's 20 years older and feels like family. I quickly throw on some leggings and a shirt. It doesn't matter what we wear to the morning meeting, as our uniforms depend on the shit we're assigned, and hurry down the stairs behind Abigail, leading into the kitchen. I try to hide behind the others unnoticed as Megan is talking about Haley's upcoming birthday ball, her bleach blonde ponytail punctuating every sentence. "I need everything to be perfect, as my name is writing on this." I look at Abigail and roll my eyes, trying to hide a laugh. We all know that she is sleeping with the alpha, and that's the only reason she got the role. His Luna is not his true mate. Not many people know that. Actually, outside of the pack house, no one does. In public, they play the part, but we know that people who are truly mated would never have eyes for another, and the alpha has made it very clear he has eyes for a few Omegas. Usually, the head Omega position is a position of respect and gained from years of experience, not a bleached blonde ponytail and a skin-tight dress. I didn't have much contact with her before she was made lead, but I know from the other Omegas talking that she was lazy and always tried to pawn off her work onto others. Megan looks up from her hot pink clipboard when she hears my giggle. Her obnoxiously tall heels make it so she can see me over the other Omegas. Her dull blue eyes seem to flicker as she plasters a smile onto her face. "Ah, Isla, It looks like you volunteered for deep cleaning duty. The past few weeks, she has been singling me out for everything, and I have no idea why. I smile in return. That sounds great. Thanks. Megan looks slightly shocked, but composes herself. That's what I like to hear from a mutt. You'll take what's given to you. Lucky to have a roof over your head, even if you have to clean shit stains off the toilets for the rest of your days in exchange for a lumpy mattress. She raises one eye and smirks at me. It's almost as if she forgets that she's an Omega. In this pack, Omegas are treated like filth. I haven't been to any other packs, but I heard once that Omegas sometimes get treated like a part of the pack at some other packs, but that could just be rumors. Pack house Omegas are rarely allowed to even leave the pack house here. Megan must have said something while I was deep in thought, because she marches up to me and pulls my hair so hard I let out a yelp and am pulled from my thoughts. Listen to me when I'm talking to you, mutt. This got a few laughs from the Omegas that were trying to stay on her good side. Even though no one respected her, the Alpha's anger was not to be messed with. She pulled me behind her and the Omegas made a path. My scalp is burning as I get pushed to the floor and hit my knees. You're lucky you're even considered an Omega, mutt. She glares down at me, and I hold my gaze steady, looking up. Megan feels off the few uncomfortable laughs that she's getting, mistaking them for people actually on her side. You should have died with your rogue parents, not like you're doing much use here. I hear Abigail pushing through the Omegas trying to get to me. No one's laughing at this point. They all know that she took it too far. I consider myself lucky every day to be taken in by the Silver Moon Pack, blessed by the moon goddess herself. As an orphan rogue, I never would have survived another year in the wild, especially as young as I was. I know what I am and where I came from, but I'm not ashamed of it. I don't remember anything before I was adopted by this pack and started working in the pack house, but I know I got lucky being taken in by this pack. I tried to stand up and she kicks me down. I look her in the eye and stand up again. I am blessed to be part of this pack. It is an honor, one that the Alpha saw fit to bestow on me. I emphasize the word Alpha. I am not a rogue. I belong to this pack, and you can say what you want about me, but you can't say that I don't belong. I am just as much part of this pack as you are. I cock my chin, looking up at her, even though she's a good half-foot taller than me in her heels. She raises her eyebrow, but seems taken aback by my sudden defiance. Honestly, I am too. She gestures towards the linen closets. I think it's only fitting that you're cleaning all the bathrooms on the Alpha floor, alone. I already know this is going to be torture. Their bathrooms are huge, and it usually takes a team of 5 to do them in a day. Make sure you take extra care of the Alpha's office bathroom, or there will be hell to pay. Oh, and Isla? I turn back without saying anything. It's a deep cleaning day, and I think we're out of gloves. She smiles sweetly and laughs, turning back to her clipboard. Chapter 2. Alphas. Trigger warning. Attempted sexual assault. Isla. I get dressed in my cleaning uniform that always feels a bit too short and tight, and grab a cart full of supplies and make my way to the Omega elevator to the Alpha floor. Ding! As the door opens to the Alpha floor, I feel a sense of discomfort that takes me a second to compose myself and push the cart out of the elevator. I've only been up here a few times, as I generally try to avoid this floor. Every time I'm up here, I feel like something isn't right. I'm sure it's just nerves being around the ranked members. Usually they completely ignore our existence, but if they're in a bad mood, they could turn on us, especially Alpha's kids, Haley and Seth. Seth is 20, but his father, Alpha Benjamin, doesn't want to give him the title yet. He says he has to earn it, which is something that I actually respect. Seth isn't too happy about that, though. The Alpha occasionally makes Seth train multiple times a day, and he will scold him in front of the staff and other pack members, and sometimes even go as far as to hit him in public. I can see the look in Seth's eyes when he does this. It's pure hatred. But he never talks back or retaliates because he's scared of him. Whenever Luna Juliana is around, she grabs her son and consoles him and gives the Alpha a warning look. She has played the part of his mate for a while now and refuses to do anything in public that will make others see that they aren't each other's destined mates. Alpha Benjamin has always been strict with his son and very lenient with his daughter, turning Seth into a resentful bastard and Haley into a spoiled, rotten bitch. I can't decide which one is worse. I push my cart to the other end of the floor, past all the empty rooms that no one goes in. I think they were used for guests, but anyone who stays usually stays on one of the other floors. I stop in front of the Alpha's room and internally sigh. I might as well get started with the worst one, the one I was most scared of accidentally running into. The uncomfortable feeling only increases as I step into the massive master suite. Deep cleaning means hours on your hands and knees, scrubbing and making sure the place is sparkling. The old head Omega Janice always said, "Clean it once and then clean it again." I smile as I think of her. I wish we got to say goodbye. I catch myself in the mirror for the first time in ages, seeing myself clearly instead of a dark reflection in a window at night or the oven door when it's turned off. Omega bathrooms don't have mirrors, as no one cares about our appearance. I'm no longer the too skinny adolescent with bright red frizzy hair. I've filled out, and my hair has turned a deep auburn with a slight wave. I cock my head to the side and stare at myself, my light green eyes staring back. I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm beautiful by any means, but I am pleasantly surprised by my appearance. I smiled a bit, not hating how I look for the first time in literally forever. If I get nothing else from today, at least I got a bit of confidence. I'm sweating by the time I'm done with this bathroom, and my knees are aching, making it hard to stand. I nervously give it another check to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I can't obsess over this, though. I still have Haley, Seth's, and the Alpha's office to do. I head to the Alpha's office next, wanting to limit my chances of running into him. I've never been in his office before. I slowly open the door and turn on the lights and see an all-dark paneled office with a massive dark wood desk. It would be cozy if it belonged to anyone else, but being in here makes my skin crawl. Something that caught my eye behind the desk was a crest in black stone that had gold etchings reflecting the light. I tried to make out what the crest was, but there were massive claw marks across it. Was this their family crest? I haven't seen it anywhere else in the pack house. I stepped closer to have a look, and I could make out a wolf howling at a silver moon and an outline of a woman in a flowing cape standing behind the wolf. For some reason, I want to touch it, and I reach up, my fingers trembling, when I hear a click of the door opening behind me. I let out a gasp as he comes up and grabs my hand away, inches from my face. "What the hell are you doing in my office? No Omega comes in here." He drags me out of the office, and I pull my arm away, rubbing it against the pane. I stutter, still in shock. "I'm cleaning the bathrooms today, and I was going to do the one in the office next," I explained. He glares at me. No Omegas are allowed in my office. That is a pack rule. I had no idea. I don't usually clean the ranked members' floors. I tried to explain, not meeting his eyes. He looked at me in disgust, and then behind him to his office, making sure that nothing was out of place. Well then, why are you still standing here? Get the fuck on with it, Omega. He said the last word with so much malice in his voice. I walk behind him, cautiously retrieving my cart from the hallway. I'm almost to Haley's room when I hear him call out. What's your name, runt? Isla, I reply, turning around to stare at him. Well then, Isla, I'll make sure there is something special waiting for you this evening. He smiles, no doubt thinking of punishments for me, and heads into his office, slamming the door behind him. There's nothing the Alpha loves more than putting down Omegas and public punishments. It's like he needs to show his authority and have people fear him, even though he is the highest-ranked member of a prominent pack. I'm shaking as I enter Haley's room with anger more than fear now. Megan knew what she was doing. She knew we weren't allowed in there. I'm furious that now I'll be enduring a punishment tonight on top of finishing these bathrooms today. I look at the clock on her dresser and see that it is already past 1 p.m. I can't believe I spent that long in their bathroom. There is no way I'll finish these last 2 bathrooms to their standards. I feel defeated as I make my way into her bathroom and almost cry when I see the number of beauty products and makeup that I would have to move to clean around. A few minutes later, I hear the door to the bathroom open behind me, and I give a little jump. I'm just starting here, I tell Haley as I turn around. Only it wasn't Haley. Behind me were 3 Omegas, 2 from my room and 1 I've met in passing, but never got much of a chance to talk to, as she usually stayed in the laundry room. They all hold up cleaning supplies and give me smiles. We finished our work early to come up and help, Kara, one of the girls from my room, says. Megan doesn't know. She adds with a wink. I'm filled with a sense of gratitude for them. You guys didn't have to come up here. I could have managed. Like hell you would have, jokes the other girl from my room, Tressa. Besides, if you don't get this done, it will be all of our asses on the line, the laundry Omega, whose name I think is Ashley, says. We all quickly get to work, chatting and laughing with each other. I truly am grateful for the people around me. Even if our situation isn't always perfect, sometimes far from it. We finished Haley's bathroom and then moved on to Seth's across the hall. Darkness was falling outside his bedroom window. It didn't take as much time as I thought it would, with the 4 of us working together. I think we're almost done here. Why don't you guys head down for dinner? I ask them. Are you sure that you can manage the rest? Ashley asks, looking around. There are only a few finishing touches left, and I need to drag it out a bit longer anyway so Megan doesn't think I got off too easy. They nodded and grabbed their things and started to walk away. I'll save you something to eat if you miss dinner, Tressa turns back and says. I smile at her as they walk out. We always take care of each other as Omegas here, because no one else takes care of us. I won't say I'm close to all of them, or even that many, but my experience has been mostly pleasant. The girls in our room especially look out for each other. Small things like that have really bonded us. That and sleeping a foot away from each other for years. I take one last look around the bathroom and make sure that I left nothing behind. I bend down to put the last few supplies on the bottom of the cart when I feel someone come up behind me and grab my hips. I stand up and try to turn around, but he holds me tight, my back pinned to his chest. My breath hitches in my throat, and I freeze in confusion and panic. Going somewhere so fast? I just got here. His hot breath blows on my neck, making me shudder in disgust. Get away from me, Seth. I finally find my voice as I struggle to get away. There's only one reason that an Omega would be in my room this late in the day. I know you were waiting for your future alpha. No need to be coy. He whispers in my ear again. He holds one arm around my waist, still pinning me to him, and uses his other to run his hands up my chest. I start to struggle, but it's apparent he is stronger than me, much stronger than me. I'm finished cleaning and I'm leaving. I struggle harder to no avail. He just pulls me tighter against his chest. It doesn't look like you're going anywhere. He chuckles when I scream. You're my property anyways. You have to listen to your alpha, he says while moving one hand up my skirt. I yell out to anyone to help me, but no one is on this floor. No one would care to help an Omega anyways. He's getting closer to my underwear and slides one finger under them, pulling them to the side. I'm going to show you pleasure like you've never known. You'll be screaming my name and begging for more. He removes his finger and brings it to my lips. Suck on this like a good girl, unless you want it to go in dry. I freeze, complete fear taking over me. I stop struggling. I'm shaking at this point, trying to think of any way out of this situation. He pushes his finger past my lips as I have an idea. I open my mouth and start slowly sucking on his finger, trying not to gag at the taste. He loosens his grip on me, thinking that I'm finally giving in. I see my chance and step on his foot as hard as I can. He freezes a moment in shock, and I turn around and knee him in the groin. He bends over as I run past him. He reaches up and rips my shirt from the front buttons. I pull away as hard as I can and run out of his room, down the main staircase that we're not allowed to use. I pass a few pack members that were visiting the pack house on the first floor. They stop to look at me in confusion. I keep running, bursting through the kitchen where the Omegas are finishing up their meal. Well, there you are. Megan looks me over, disheveled, and my bra visibly showing. I assigned you to cleaning duty, not to go and fuck, you little whore. I just want to be alone and go to bed, I say, brushing past her. She grabs my ear and pulls me back. Who were you with? She glares at me. I see the jealousy in her eyes as she realizes the possibility that I slept with the alpha, her alpha. Does it matter? I cleaned the bathrooms and I'm back here before bed. I smile sweetly at her, sick of her shit and reveling in her anger. She grabs my arm and I turn back to her, pulling it away. Get the fuck away from me, Megan. I did what you asked me to do. Now I'm going to bed. So sort out your jealousy for yourself. She is fuming now. He would never stoop as low as to be with a mutt like you. Then why are you so worried about it? I retorted. Fine, go to bed. I start to walk away. But you're sleeping outside tonight, chained to the post like the stray dog you are. Chapter 3. Punishment. Isla. I felt completely hopeless, completely empty. After what happened today, I just wanted the comfort of my attic bed, and now I'm being punished for Megan's misplaced jealousy. I wish I wouldn't have stood up to her and just told her I fell or something. I feel hot tears well up in my eyes as I search for Megan so she doesn't see anything. There is no use fighting her on this. Her word is as good as law when it comes to the Omegas. I don't want to be forced to face the Alpha again. I've already made myself known today, which is something that I've always tried to avoid. I've managed to go relatively unnoticed for the almost 14 years I've been here. But of course, a month before my 18th birthday, it seems that everything is going to shit. Megan has been singling me out. I run in with the alpha in his office, and Seth tried to force himself on me. The only two I haven't managed to piss off yet for some reason were Haley and the Luna. At the rate I'm going, I'm sure I'll have a run-in with them before the week is over. I followed Megan out to the post behind the back kitchen entrance. It was a new punishment that the alpha and her concocted. They'd only used it on a few people. One girl burnt a batch of chili, the other stained the alpha's expensive sheets. And me, at the other end of Megan's jealousy. I'm lucky I'm not a rogue. I'm lucky I'm not a rogue. I'm lucky I'm not a rogue. I keep repeating to myself. I walk out back, followed by a group of Omegas I heard her telling to follow her. Megan loves an audience. Neil. She smiles down at me. A bit melodramatic, but she always has a flair for the theatrics. Apparently, I'm taking too long because she shoves me to the hard ground. I glare up at her. I wouldn't be looking at me with anything but respect, you dog. You think you're in trouble now? I'm going to find out exactly what happened today, and you'll be lucky if you ever see the light of day again. She spits. She puts a heavy metal dog collar and fastens it around my neck. The collar is chained to a thick pole, with only about 10 feet of movement allowed from the pole. This could be more humiliating, but I count myself lucky that it's already dark and only some Omegas are here to witness this. That's better then. She sneers at me, pulling the chain too hard, making me gasp for breath. Right back where you belong. They honestly shouldn't have taken you in ever. You're nothing but a stray. You'll never pass as a house dog, no matter how pretty you think you are. You lazy bastards, off to bed. We have a lot of prep, which means an early wake-up call. I hear everyone groan as they shuffle inside. Anytime there is a party or event, all the pack members are excited about it, and the Omegas are forced to do double the work without any of the fun ourselves. If I catch any of you sneaking food to this mutt, I'll assume you want to join her. I'm sure an extra leash can be found around here. She cackles. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Megan. I hear the Omegas mumble before she slams the door shut. I take a deep breath in and check out my surroundings. Honestly, this doesn't seem so bad. Packhouse Omegas rarely are allowed to go outside if we aren't assigned an outside chore. I've always loved this land and felt a deep connection to it. I'm sure it's the wolf in me talking. I'm so at ease outside that I actually begin to see this as a positive thing. I lay down on a bed of grass and take a deep breath that smells of warm earth about to drift off when I see a light turn on at the back of the pack house, up on one of the ranked members' floors. Seth comes to the window, and I swear he is staring right at me. He's had his wolf with him for years, so his sight is better than mine. He gives a smirk that sends a chill down my spine. I know he sees me. He knows I'm alone out here. I look back up at his room and see that he's gone from the window. The light flickers off. I feel panic start to rise. He knows I'm out here alone, literally chained to a pole. I see if there is any way to get this leash off me, but it is made of steel. I go to the pole and see that the chain is actually welded through the pole with a large ring. They really didn't want anyone getting out of this. My breath starts to get fast, and my palms are sweaty. There is no way I can fight him off again. Nowhere to run. No one that would hear me. I can't mind link with anyone else in the pack because I'm not 18 yet. I can't call for anyone as they are already probably all in bed and in the attic or basement. I hear the back door open softly, and I freeze in panic. This can't be happening. Goddess, help me. Chapter 4. The Collar. Isla. The door creaked and my stomach dropped. I have never felt fear like this, not even in Seth's bathroom today. There is absolutely no way out of this one. No one would hear me scream. I would lose my virginity chained to a pole, exactly as Megan would have wanted it. I hear the door close again and hushed footsteps. I try to run, but the chain pulls me back. Frantic, I fall to the ground and start shaking. Moments later, someone comes and puts their hand on my back. "Get the fuck away from me!" I shout, jerking their hand away. "Dear, it's me." I slowly turn around as realization hits me. It's Abigail. I break down in tears of relief, tears of anger, fear, and sadness at the same time. Once I stop sobbing, I tell Abigail all that happened that day. Abigail starts to shake, and I can feel her wolf come forward, which is rare for an Omega, especially because we are rarely allowed to let them out. "That little bastard did that to you?" she screamed in a hushed tone. I let slip a giggle. I've never heard Abigail swear before. "Sweet girl." She looks at me and frowns while placing her hand under my chin. "Don't," I croak. "I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I don't want anyone." Abigail smiles and pulls out some biscuits and cheese from a napkin and a water bottle and gives it to me. I eat, not realizing how hungry I was, and lay in her lap as she rubs my hair. I fall asleep within minutes, and even though I didn't realize it, she stayed with me until morning. I wake up after a surprisingly good night's sleep and stretch my sore limbs. My bed, or should I say mattress, is barely more comfortable than this is anyways. I didn't notice when Abigail left as I was in such a deep sleep. The first signs of the day start to show and the sky is a murky gray color. I lay back and run my hands through the grass and breathe deeply, taking in the feeling of the earth and this moment. I feel a sense of calm wash over me, like I am meant to be here, as silly as that sounds. I'm taken out by my thoughts abruptly by the sound of the back door being thrust open and banging against the side of the house. I sit up abruptly. "I hope you slept well." Megan comes out, her slick ponytail bobbing behind her, a sickly smile plastered on her face. "I actually did. Thanks for asking," I reply, meeting her eye, something she's not used to from Omegas. "Well then, this might have to be your new bed. It suits you." She laughs and pulls out a key. "As much as I would love to leave you out here until you learned your lesson not to lie about sleeping with a ranked member," I scoff at her words, but she doesn't pause. "I need all hands on deck before Haley's party. Unfortunately, that means I need even your desperate ones." She unlocks the collar around my neck, and I immediately rub it, not realizing how tight that it actually was. "You are in no circumstances allowed to be around any of the ranked members from any pack, you whore. Do I make myself clear?" She glares at me. "Crystal clear," I say with a smile while standing up and brushing past her into the pack house kitchen. I am honestly so relieved hearing that I won't have to deal with any of the ranked members, especially the alpha and his pervy son. I head upstairs. I'll have just enough time to wash myself up a bit before starting on my duties today. Being back downstairs for our assignments again felt strange. It didn't seem like 24 hours ago I was getting assigned to deep clean the alpha floor bathrooms alone, with all the events of yesterday. "My name is riding on this party, so I expect nothing less than perfection." We've heard that line a million times over this past month. There is a party planner, and the Luna was in charge of overseeing everything as part of her pack duties. Megan was just in charge of setting up and cleaning. Actually, she was just in charge of overseeing the setup, and I say overseeing very loosely. Mostly, she's just been yelling at all of us, of course, not actually lifting a finger herself. "The party is this Friday, so we have exactly 5 days to have this place looking better than it ever has before. She goes on. Some of the alpha and beta are staying for the weekend, so all of the guest rooms must be deep cleaned and set up. There are a few quiet groans from some of the omegas, but a quick glare from Megan shuts them up. I have it under strict orders from the alpha that only a select few will be allowed on the ranked members' floors, and that includes the visiting ranked members after yesterday's incident. Megan looks around for me. She says friend with such malice and sarcasm in her voice. There will be a lot of rooms to get ready, and only 5 of you will be allowed to do it. This time, Megan let the groans go and even smiled at people's displeasure, knowing that it had to do with me, so they don't notice me. So, the deep cleaning will start today, Megan says, and continues to rattle off the names of the omegas charged to deep cleaning duty, apparently approved by the alpha. I didn't know any of them personally, and they all seemed to be a bit older, in their 40s or so. I wasn't sure if this was actually Megan's decision. She was passing off as the alphas because she didn't want any other omega to tempt him, or if for some reason the alpha was so worried about people being around his office and his room. I didn't think too much more about it. I was just glad I would be able to stay away from them and hopefully lay low until the party. Chapter 5. Party Prep. Isla. The pack house returns to the normal hustle and bustle of things. I'm thankfully put on kitchen duty for the week, which I actually like. It's nice knowing what you're doing, and there's so much to do for preparations this week that I never get bored and the work passes fast. I wake up the next morning, early before the first light of autumn creeps through the window. I feel energized and decide to sneak downstairs for some much-needed alone time, and maybe a chance to get some fresh air. The alpha said there wasn't a reason for us to leave the pack house since our work was here, and we work from sunup until sundown anyways. It's just how it's always been, and the omegas seem used to it. I always found it strange that we weren't allowed to have time outside, or really much free time at all. Even though we're omegas, we're still wolves that need to connect with nature, and I don't even know when the omegas have a chance to connect with their wolf forms. I haven't heard of Abigail shifting, actually, but she must have. The kitchen is empty, and I walk outside and take off my shoes by the back door. I plant my feet in the grass and take in a huge breath of cool air, the first autumn breath of the almost changing seasons. And a smile is immediately plastered on my face. I feel content and at home. I stretch my arms and legs and take a short walk around the outskirts of the pack house in the forest, careful not to go too far because dawn creeps up fast and I want to be back inside before anyone notices I'm missing. I really don't want to cause any trouble. I've been pretty happy here and I want to continue that. I made a promise to myself to lay low, even if that means pretending to submit to Megan and not talk back. I grit my teeth at the thought of it. Once the sky starts to lighten, I head back inside, meeting with John, the guy who drops off fresh produce in the mornings on my way in. Hi, John. I smile when I see him. He's in his mid-30s, if I had to guess, and is the most positive person I've ever met. I open that back door as he gives me his award-winning smile. Hello, Miss Isla, he sings back. I'm honestly a bit surprised he remembers my name, as I rarely get to see him because I'm usually one of the last ones down and always miss him. Can I get you a cup of coffee? I ask. If you're making one for yourself, I would love some, but I don't want you going out of your way then. No trouble at all. Milk and sugar? I look up at him. Just milk, please, he responds, and he begins unloading his boxes of vegetables. As the coffee is brewing, I help him start unloading. It's going to be a crazy weekend here then, isn't it? He comments, looking around at all the trays set out for baking today. I haven't seen a party this big ever, I say. Truth be told, there have been some smaller gatherings and meetings, but nothing of this magnitude. There used to be parties. John gets a faraway look in his eye. A while back. Remembering, but then shakes it off. Must have been before your time then. Must be, I say, handing him his coffee. We enjoy it in silence for a few minutes, until I start hearing some stirring upstairs and movement on the steps. I take our mugs and put them in the sink. Well, I better head off. Thanks for the company, Miss Isla. He tips his cap at me. I'll see you in a few hours if you're around. I'll be back with some more produce. I nod and smile and hastily run upstairs to get ready for the day. Abigail and I end up working at the same station. Neither of us is great at baking, so we're in charge of preparing some of the sauces that will end up served with the steaks for dinner. It's your birthday on Friday. Abigail nudges my shoulder. What do you want to do for it? The same thing as always is perfect. I smile at her. We have a tradition of sneaking some treats and heading to the lake and spending hours there at night. The next day we are exhausted, but it's worth it. I look up at her as she's humming and mixing in some herbs to the sauce. She notices me staring. Yes, my dear? I pause for a minute before I ask her. Do you ever regret not finding a mate? I ask, or not really being allowed the opportunity to have one, I should say. I look up remorsefully. We've never talked about it that much before. Omegas that are mated to other omegas in the pack house find their mates. If your mate doesn't turn out to be a pack house omega, then omegas rarely find their mates here. She sighs. Honestly, I think everyone wants to find their mate. Everyone deserves the opportunity to find the person that the moon goddess chose for them. I'd be lying if I said that I wouldn't have loved to find mine. I always wanted kids. She looks down at me and pushes a strand of hair behind my ear. It's unspoken, but we're family. I don't know where I would be if she wouldn't have taken me in. I'm hoping that I find my mate on my 18th birthday, mostly because mated omegas get their own room in the attic or basement, and they don't have to share with others anymore. It would just be nice to have a place of my own, somewhere that felt like mine, even if it was a small room. Maybe I could get some decorations or be able to paint the walls. Being able to share with only one other person, and the person that was destined to be yours, seemed like a major step up to the floor of an attic. Megan stalks into the kitchen, her heels clicking, giving her away before her bleached blonde ponytail comes into view. I busy myself and look down, hoping she won't notice me. She starts looking closely at everyone's station. Not that she would even know what she's looking for. She was a shit omega. Abigail disappears for a second and comes back with a tray of pastries. Bring these upstairs. There's a backup fridge in the prep area off the main dining room. I whisper a thank you and hurry out of the kitchen, right as Megan turns around to look at our sauce station. I head up the kitchen stairs and have to cross the foyer to access the dining room as easily as possible. I'm looking down, trying to focus on carrying the tray that is getting heavier as I go on. All of a sudden, I hear a shriek as I bump into something. I let out a muffled scream and drop the platter. The only sound is the platter bouncing off the floor, and I see it in slow motion as the pastries go flying. The pack members that are milling about the pack house all freeze. I look up and see Haley glaring at me with so much hatred in her eyes. Chapter 6. Haley. Isla. Just my luck. You fucking dirty bitch! She spits at me. You did that on purpose. I just know it. She yells the last few words. I promise I didn't mean to. I wasn't paying attention. I bend down and start to pick up the pastries. Haley kicks my wrist, causing me to yelp in pain, and the pastries I have in my hand go flying. I'm sorry. I look up at her. I promise it was an accident. Pack members are starting to gather around at this point, silent and watching us. She doesn't say anything, just glares down at me. I'm just going to clean up and get out of your way. I continue. I promise it won't happen again. She cocks an eyebrow. Oh, I'll make sure that nothing like this happens again. You'll learn this time. Thank you. I start to reply as she kicks me in the chest, forcing me to fall back. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Alpha and Luna walk down the stairs. Just what I need. I feel fear in the pit of my stomach, knowing this is going to end horribly. Someone comes and stands in front of me as Haley rears back for another kick. I think we can all admit a mistake was made and a lesson learned here. A smooth voice says. I'm too busy nursing my sore wrist to look up at the stranger. Get the fuck out of my way, farmer, Haley spits. I'm the Alpha's daughter, basically a princess, and you will treat me with respect. My savior doesn't step down. I steal a look, and I knew where I recognized the voice. John. I do respect your father's position and yours as his daughter, but I think that there was a misunderstanding here. He replies, I know someone as generous as yourself would pardon this poor young Omega. He continues, trying to placate her and keep the peace. A few of the pack members start gathering around and help me to my feet, while someone grabs the tray and replaces the soiled pastries. Haley looks around him to the pack members helping me up, confused. Why the fuck are you helping this bitch? She demands. She attacked me! She wails as the pack members continue to stand by my side, not wanting to say anything. The Alpha and Luna come up to stand behind Haley. Daddy! Haley wails, throwing herself into his arms. She turns around and points at me with crocodile tears in her eyes. She attacked me and threw the whole plate of food at me. The Alpha turns to me, looking me over. Recognition hardens his eyes and he starts to glare. Well, 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 if it isn't our little troublemaker. He looks down at me. I look at my wrist, trying to avoid his glare. It was an accident, I promise. I wasn't looking where I was going. It won't happen again. I mumble. Speak up, unless you forgot you're talking to an Alpha here,
he states.
I look up at him, about to repeat myself, when his mate interrupts him. Attacking the Alpha's daughter has serious consequences, Luna Juliana says. I swear I see the Alpha give her a stern look, but he quickly composes himself. Yes, that's enough. Alpha Benjamin cuts her off, clearly annoyed with her for trying to take over his public display of dominance. There is a heavy pause as he looks down at me again. I'm getting annoyed at this point of repeating the same thing over and over. I get to stand up, and I finally take a look at John as he helps me stand up. I give him a small smile before I turn to the Alpha. I look him in the eyes and repeat myself. It was an accident. I didn't see her. It won't happen again. I state, not breaking eye contact. If pretending to be meek and innocent won't help, I might as well try standing up for myself. How dare you, you little bitch! He pulls his hand back to slap me, and the pack members around us audibly gasp, making him pause. He looks around him, confused, as if he just noticed them all there for the first time. Alpha, a man in his early 30s that I've never seen before, steps forward, bowing his head. I was here when it happened. It really was a mistake. A few others start verbally agreeing with him and nodding their heads. The Alpha looks completely shocked. He stutters and then looks down at me in a mix of rage and confusion. Don't let it happen again. I won't let any offense against any member of Alpha Blood go unpunished. Yes, sir, I say, looking down again, trying to make it seem that I am terribly sorry. It seems to have appeased him as he backs off. I let out a breath and look around at the pack members and smile at them, acknowledging their part in helping me. The ones that didn't disperse helped me pick up my things. Come on, let's drop this back in the kitchen, and I think you need to see a doctor about that wrist of yours, John says, taking the tray of soiled pastries from me and leading the way back to the kitchen. I look behind me and see Haley standing on the landing of the stairs, staring daggers at me. Chapter 7. Headaches and Mistresses. Haley. Ah! I scream. My father puts his hands on the sides of his temples and turns away from me. Why didn't you do something? I demand. You are literally the Alpha and the fucking Luna, and you let an Omega attack me and get away with it? Watch your language, my mother says. I just roll my eyes. She is obviously jealous of you, sweetie. You being the Alpha's daughter, the prize of this pack, someone that holds rank and esteem. Whoever that was, that small little Omega, will never know what it's like to be anywhere near your position. That doesn't make it okay to let her off without punishment, just because she's jealous, I retort, crossing my arms. Daddy! He looks up from me from behind his desk, sorting through papers. Can you, get rid of her or something? He gives me a confused look. Let's wait until after then, and then we can revisit the subject. He replies, I would have done a lot more if those other pack members weren't around, but she will get her punishment. I'll make sure she's taken care of. Oh, you mean Megan will take care of it? My mother says Megan with such malice. That skinny little stick-up-her-ass fake blonde bitch will deal with it, right? She says with venom in her voice. My dear, you really need to drop this jealousy. She's the lead Omega, and we have to have frequent meetings to make sure everything runs to your exceptionally high standards. He stands up from his desk and walks towards my mother, pulling her into a hug. My mother visibly softens at his rare touch. Whatever. You both are annoying. I storm out of the room. Benjamin. After Haley stormed out, I pat Juliana's back and tell her that maybe she should go talk Haley down. She smiles up at me seductively, or what she thinks is seductive. I actually think she looks a bit deranged. Don't you need some comfort too? She licks her lips. I have to try to hide my disgust with her. It hasn't always been like this. I used to be attracted to her, but I just find her more of a headache as the years go by. Her desperation is such a turnoff. But she plays the part well. The pack thinks she's my mate. Fully, the Omegas have been quiet and submissive little things in the past. Enough to satisfy my appetite. My dear, I say as I stroke the back of her head, as much as I would love that, I think our daughter needs you more than I do. Hurt turns to anger on her face. Fine, you old fuck. If you can't get it up anymore, just say it. She spits as she walks away, slamming the door. I sigh as I go back to my desk and sit down. I pick up the phone and dial a number I've used frequently the past few months. Hello? A bubbly voice answers. I immediately feel more relaxed. I require your assistance, I say in a low voice. Anything my alpha needs, he gets, she responds. I'll see you in 10 minutes. I go about busying myself with some papers I need to look over in regards to the expenses of Haley's party, or ball as she likes to call it, trying to get a bit more work done when I hear a soft knock at the door. I smile widely. Come in, I say, and Megan enters in a short black skirt and light blue top that is cut low. It shows off her perky breasts. She turns and locks the door behind her, bending over unnecessarily to show her ass. Not that I'm complaining. She saunters over to me and sits on the floor between my legs and looks up at me, placing her hands on my legs. You need something, Alpha? She purrs seductively. Unlike my mate, this turns me on, and I can feel myself hardening and straining against my pants. Megan looks down and lets out a giggle as she goes to unzip my belt. She frees me from my pants and looks up at me before expertly taking my length into her mouth. I lean back and groan, letting her do her thing. It's good to be an alpha. Chapter 8. Megan. Megan. My alpha groaned as I finished sucking him off. I swallowed and licked my lips seductively, looking at him through my eyelashes. Is that what you wanted? I asked, already knowing the answer. That was all he could reply to as he went to pull up his pants and buckle his belt. You always know exactly what I like. Anything for you, I respond. I'm addicted to the feeling of power I get from being around him, being in his office with this little secret of ours. I'm doing something in my power to please him so that he doesn't have eyes for others, and then I can become more than an Omega I was cursed to be by my low-life parents. I will become the next Luna. He doesn't love Juliana. She can't please him anymore. I just need to get rid of her. Do you know the Omega Isla? I was pulled from my thoughts as that bitch's name escapes my alpha's lips. Why do you ask? I ask hesitantly, really hoping he wasn't attracted to her. I knew it was a mistake making her clean the pack house bathrooms. I should have kept her away from him at all costs. I'm starting to panic. As much as I hate to admit it, even to myself, she's beautiful. Not to mention coming into her confidence. If the alpha notices, there's no way of stopping him from getting what he wants. She got in an altercation with Haley today. He pauses. When I don't speak, he continues. I trust she'll be punished for entering my office without permission. He raises an eyebrow. Yes, sir. That won't be happening again. I'll make sure that she stays away from the ranked floor at all costs in the future. It seems that confining her to the kitchen and laundry rooms is the next step. I continue thinking out loud. She has always been a bit of trouble, but these past few weeks, she has been acting out. I didn't know she would go as far as attacking your daughter. To be completely honest, I'm not sure if Haley was dramatizing the issue. He looks down at me. That stays between us, of course. I nod my head. You know how Haley can be. She has a flair for the drama. She will grow out of it. She's young and an alpha's daughter. There's bound to be some fight in her. I smiled at him. She is to be my stepdaughter one day, so I have to stay on his good side when it comes to his kids. The problem isn't with Haley's dramatics, though. The pack members seem to be taking Isla's side. They were helping her pick up the crap and even standing up to me while trying to explain the situation. He rubbed his hand over his chin, thinking, I honestly have no idea why, so I wanted to ask you why the pack members seem to be on her side over my daughter's. This honestly enraged me, and it took me a few seconds to speak. There is no reason I can see why anyone would choose that filthy lowlife over their alpha's daughter, I say, shaking with rage. This bitch just won't go away. That's what I was thinking, he ponders. So what do you want me to do with her? I ask him. Hopefully he has an answer because I want a way to get rid of her before the alpha realizes her for another reason besides hatred and wants her instead of me. I'm not sure yet. I don't really care what happens to her. If people know who she is, we have to be discreet about it. He muses. I like where his head is. I stand up, dropping my underwear. Maybe we can stage something at the party. No one will notice her then. She's just becoming too much trouble. I would rather have her removed before something else happens. Positioning myself over his already hard dick, I take his length in one swift motion, clenching around his dick and let out a sigh. I will fuck this man until he's mine alone. Chapter 9. Doctor in Training. Isla. John ushered me downstairs to the kitchen. As soon as we got down there, Abigail hurried to me with a confused look on her face, eyeing the strewn pastries that John was carrying behind me. "I'll fill her in." He winked at me. "We just need to get you to a doctor." "A doctor?" Abigail asked, worry plastered across her face. She looked me up and down, stopping when she saw me cradle my wrist. "Oh, honey. It's nothing. I'm sure it'll heal in a few days on its own," I say to both of them. "You're not 18 yet, so you don't have your wolf to help you heal, or else I wouldn't be so worried," Abigail states. "Let's see if we can find someone to help." She looks around at the Omegas in the kitchen. "Do you want me to take her to the clinic?" John asks. "Omegas don't have access to the clinic unless it's a life-threatening emergency," Abigail responds, not looking at John's shocked face. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know that." John looks from Abigail to me. I give him a small smile. "No worries, John. We make do just fine. We have a few Omegas that know what they're doing. We've had to figure it out ourselves, and thankfully some took it upon themselves to learn to help the rest of us out. It really is a great community we have here," she says, seemingly trying to convince herself as much as John. "I'll go get Elijah. I think he's around here somewhere. He should be able to take a look and get you wrapped up good as new." John helps me into a seat and gets me a glass of water. I'm fine. He gives me a look. Really, I am. My wrist barely hurts now. "It's not the wrist I'm worried about. I can't believe that the ranked members would treat you in such a way." He shakes his head. "They were just showing their dominance. It's what they do. No harm done," I respond. "Still." He pauses and Megan bursts through the kitchen door, her usually perfect ponytail askew and her shirt rumpled. She looks surprised to see me and John and stops in her tracks, smiling at me. "Just the person I was looking for." She ignores John and walks towards me. John instinctively moves closer to me and puts his arm around my shoulder. "This really doesn't concern you." She gives John a bored look. "With all due respect, ma'am, I was entrusted to make sure this young lady got properly taken care of." He responds coolly. Before Megan can respond, Abigail comes bustling back with Elijah, a young enough wolf in his early 20s, carrying a first aid kit, trying to keep up behind her. Abigail stops, seeing Megan. "Oh, hello, Megan," she says politely. "Sauces are finished and cooling now. Just getting Isla wrapped up so she can get back to work helping me clean our station," she says, trying to plaster on a friendly smile, but it doesn't look natural to me. "Well then," Megan says, taken aback being outnumbered. "After you are finished cleaning your station, I'll need to speak with you," Megan says to me. "Alone," she adds, her eyes looking at John and Abigail. She saunters to her office off the kitchen and slams the door. I let out a breath I didn't even know I was holding. I got off easy that time, but I know Megan wouldn't let me get off forever. Elijah takes my wrist in his and slowly looks it over. Moving it around a bit, I wince. Once he is satisfied that it's just a sprain, he wraps it up for me and gives me some simple instructions to follow. Unfortunately, I don't have the option to rest and not use it. There's so much being done for the party, and Elijah knows that, as well as I do. I smile and nod at him anyway, playing along, and thank him profusely. Abigail has already started cleaning up our station, and John is helping her do my part. My heart swells for these amazing people I have in my life, especially that John would go out of his way to help me, when we've only had a few brief interactions prior to today. I turn around and head to Megan's office, or else I'll get too nervous. I pause outside her door and take a deep breath before knocking. "Come in," she says. I open the door and she raises her eyebrow and smiles maliciously. Goddess, help me. Close the door. Megan instructs, and I softly close it behind me, making sure that it makes no noise. I turn to her and stand in front of her desk. You can take a seat. She waves her hand at the chair across from her, and I slowly lower myself into it, not really sure what to expect. I haven't been in this office since Megan took it over. Since Janice, the previous head Omega, was here. Janice pretty much always had the door open and people in and out. The light wood paneling that surround the bottom of the walls previously has been painted a stark white. In contrast, the walls which used to be off-white. Megan notices me staring around. Nice, right? She smiles, looking genuinely pleased. It's the least I could do to spruce up this place. The old hag did nothing to it the years she was here. I smile as genuinely as I can and take another look around. It's really nice. I lie. It definitely brightens the room up. She smiles at me, forgetting herself before plastering on a glare. So, let's get down to it. You attack the Alpha's daughter, she states matter-of-factly. But Stop! She holds up her hand. It wasn't a question. You attack the Alpha's daughter. She repeats. You are to be confined to the Omega rooms, the kitchen, and the laundry area until the party is over. You are not to step foot in any common area of the pack house or outside the pack house. My stomach drops. Friday is my birthday, and I was looking forward to my night with Abigail by the lake. I wonder if I could still sneak out for it because everyone would be so busy with the party. During the party, Megan continued, you are to have a special job in the forest clearing. I'll give you more details on Friday. That is the only time you are to leave the pack house. She looks at me and I don't answer. Are we clear? Yes, Megan, I reply, waiting for more of a punishment. I had to stay outside chained like a dog for something I didn't do. And now she's accusing me of attacking a ranked member and all I get is to be confined in the pack house like I normally am? I look at her and she stares at me back with a harsh judgmental glare. You know, you could be slightly pretty if you tried. She breaks the silence. I must have looked confused. Obviously nothing compared to me, but you wouldn't be so... She pauses and waves her hand at me. Dull. Thank you? I responded. Just then a knock comes at the door and the party planner is bustling in with a massive board behind her. This is a seating emergency, the planner exclaims. I look at Megan, seeing if I'm dismissed, but she is now in deep conversation with the planner, enthralled with the seating chart that she brought, so I sneak out. Abigail and John are waiting for me right where I left them, both giving me inquisitive looks. She confined me to the Omega's quarters and our working areas for the next few days. I'm allowed to leave to do my duty Friday night in the forest, which I'm sure will be torture, but besides that, she didn't mention anything else. John lets out a breath and gives me a huge smile. Well, I best be getting back to work. Thank you, ladies, for letting me keep you company this afternoon. He tips his cap at us. John, I don't know how to thank you. I start, but he puts his hands up and smiles and turns to walk away out the back door of the kitchen. I turn to Abigail, and she just lets out a sigh and smiles at me too. What a long and weird day this has been. I nod in agreement. I snuck some pastries. Don't worry, not the ones you dropped on the floor. She laughs. Let's take a short break before we have to start prep for dinner. Goddess knows we deserve it. I smile and follow her up to our room to enjoy our stolen snacks. Chapter 10. Birthday Morning. Isla. The next few days go by in a blur. There's extra work to be done, and we start our days early and end them late. There's not much else to focus on besides constant tasks preparing for the ball and the arrival of visiting ranked pack members. I can hear the other Omega females that haven't found their mates, hoping that they might meet a pack member that they haven't seen before, or maybe an Omega visiting to help another pack's alpha. Everyone is on their best behavior in hopes of getting chosen to work at the dinner and party. On Friday, we're all woken up to loud knocks on our doors hours before we normally wake up. The sky is still pitch black, and I can see the dull ache of stars still in the sky. Someone in our rooms turns on the lights, and we all groan. I cover my eyes and lay back down for a second before Abigail touches my arm. I look over to her, and she mouths, "Coffee." I nod and grin at her. She tucks me in and kisses my forehead as the other Omegas leave the room. No one knows it's my birthday. It's not something I ever really mention. Normally, I would be up with the others, but what are 5 extra minutes in bed? It's a birthday gift to myself. I must have drifted back to sleep because Abigail is softly waking me. I groggily open my eyes and sit up in bed as she hands me a fresh steaming pot of coffee. Coffee in bed is such a luxury. I take a long, deep breath, smelling it, and already feeling more awake. "Happy birthday." Abigail smiles at me. "I have something small for you now, and then something special for you later at the lake. I've been saving it until you turned 18. "Abigail," I start, but she shakes her head. "You just enjoy that now, and I'll be right back." A floorboard that came undone that no one knows about but us. I already know what it is. It's been her tradition every single year to give me a book. She was the one that taught me how to read, as I never attended school, and I have loved stories since the moment she started reading them to me. We don't have many books as Omegas, and rarely have any free time to read them even if we did. I'm still not sure where Abigail gets all the books, but she makes sure to procure me a brand new one every year. They end up getting worn out quickly due to me quickly reading them and then rereading them almost every night. She used to mix them up by genre because I would read anything, but she noticed I loved a good fairy tale more than anything. I love that it takes me somewhere different. As content as I am with my life, it's nice to have dreams and feel that they might actually happen, even if it's for a few minutes a day. I'm excited as I set down my coffee next to my mattress and eagerly reach for the parcel she's handing me. I open it and see a gorgeous, deep blue cover with gold embossed flowers decorating the front and the spine of the book. I look at the title, Pride and Prejudice. I've never read that before. The book was so gorgeous. I don't know how much it would have cost her or where she would have even gotten the money for it. It's my favorite. I've read it over and over again. Abigail says, "Not quite a fairy tale like the ones I've gotten you the past few years, but it's an amazing love story with a strong female lead." She winks at me. I run my fingers over the cover again as tears pool in my eyes. Abigail runs her hand down my cheek and holds my chin looking up at her. I look into her face, memorizing her black hair with a few strands of gray starting to show to match her gray eyes, and the faintest of wrinkles forming around her eyes and her laugh lines. "Thank you," I say, but it comes out more like a whisper. "Happy birthday, Isla. I remember the first time that you told me about your birthday, the only memory you've ever shared with me." She pulls me into a big hug, and I stay there, content in her comfort for a few minutes until she pulls away. The only memory I had, but I can't remember anything anymore. I whisper and look at my hands. "You walked up to me all sweet and whispered that it was your birthday when you were 4 or so. Honestly, it took me by surprise. You didn't talk much before then." She looks at me. "I fell in love with you at that moment." I still don't know how I knew it was my birthday. Honestly, I'm a bit worried I was wrong about it, and I won't get my wolf today. You probably had more memories you didn't share, and if for some reason you were wrong, your 18th birthday will come soon enough. She pats my knee. "Enjoy your coffee and meet me downstairs in a few minutes. I'll try to get us assigned to something easy and out of the way," she says with a wink. I smile and nod at her, taking back my coffee mug in my hands. As much as I would love to savor this, I know that today is going to be hectic. and I don't want anyone, mainly Megan, to realize that I'm missing. The coffee is cold enough that I can finish it quickly. I take one last look at my gorgeous present and hide it behind my pillow before getting ready and heading downstairs.